All the doctors in the hospital bowed to a small 11-year-old boy. His story proves that even a child's act can change the lives of many people for the better. Liang Yaoyi was born in Shenzhen in southern China, but unfortunately he did not live as long a life as one might hope. In 2014, after his tragic death, all the doctors at the hospital bowed deeply to him 3 times, a gesture in China that expresses the deepest respect, usually reserved for deities, the emperor, or truly exceptional people. So, what did this young boy do? Lan was born completely healthy and brought joy to his parents as he grew up. He loved playing with his peers, did well in school, and dreamed of becoming an inventor. But one dark day, everything changed. At the age of 9, Lan suddenly had a severe headache and had to go home from school. His mother thought he had caught a cold and gave him medicine. But the mysterious illness wouldn't go away. His parents took him to the hospital where, after tests and examinations, doctors delivered terrible news. Lan had an inoperable brain tumor. This was a huge shock to the entire family, and the tragic end seemed inevitable. At best, he had a few years left. His devastated parents couldn't hold back their tears. Their son didn't fully understand what was happening at first. Gradually, though, Lan began to comprehend the severity of his condition. Despite everything, he didn't want to leave the world without making it a little better. He remained optimistic, determined to beat the disease. He took his medication, underwent treatments, and continued studying at school whenever his health allowed. He even changed his dream. Instead of becoming an inventor, he now wanted to be a doctor and save lives. At his young age, Lan became seriously interested in medical books, which deeply influenced his thinking. Unfortunately, his health continued to decline month after month. He spent more and more time in the hospital, where doctors did their best to ease his constant pain. His family continued to educate him in his hospital room so he wouldn't fall behind in school. His older brother and sister visited and played with him as often as they could. Lan's family wasn't wealthy, and their budget was stretched thin by the growing costs of his treatments. The doctors performed several operations and many procedures which only slightly relieved his suffering but couldn't cure the disease. When Lan turned 11, the doctors told his grieving parents that due to the growing tumor, he had only a few months left. Lan understood he would never live to fulfill his dreams. But he was still determined to do something good for others. When his mother came to his hospital bed, Lan firmly and clearly expressed his last wish. He wanted all his healthy organs to be donated after his death to people who could still be saved. He said he wanted to make others a little happier and make the world a slightly better place. His mother was surprised by this unusual request. But Lan insisted, saying that since he was still so young, this would be his only legacy, the only good deed he could accomplish before leaving this world. With tears in her eyes, his mother promised she would do everything to fulfill his wish. Lan then relaxed and gave a faint smile. In June 2014, after a long and brave fight, Lan lost his battle with cancer. His family was heartbroken, but his mother knew exactly what she had to do to honor her beloved son's memory. The doctors were amazed that someone so young had made such a serious and responsible decision, and they vowed to carry out his last wish. In China, it is not common to donate organs. Most of the deceased are cremated, and organ donation is rare. Even blood donation is uncommon, and rare blood types can be nearly impossible to find. Lan had learned all this from reading medical literature, and it was then that he realized how he could help people who were suffering. On the day of his farewell, before the organ removal, all the hospital staff gathered around his bed. The doctors bowed deeply 3 times before Lan, a gesture of the highest respect for the difficult decision he had made, despite the pain he endured. A few hours later, doctors fulfilled Lan's final wish, performing several successful organ transplants. From that day on, Lan lived on in the hearts of the patients he saved by donating his healthy organs. His inconsolable mother believes her son acted with great courage and selflessness, thinking not only of himself in his final moments but determined to help others at any cost. The news of his story quickly spread throughout the country. Through his remarkable act, little Lan set an example of courage and generosity for many adults who are used to thinking only of themselves and their problems.